Echoes from the edge. The stars shimmered like 1,000 quiet sentinels beyond the reinforced viewport of the Aegis Dawn, humanity's most advanced scout vessel. Captain Rio Kalin leaned forward in his seat, eyes narrowing as the alien structure loomed ahead. Monolithic, ancient, and silent. Unregistered artifact, definitely artificial, came the voice of Ensign Talia Vren, her tone a blend of awe and dread. No life signs, no transmissions, just sitting there, orbiting a rogue planet beyond the Epsilon Veil. The alien construct resembled a dead city of obsidian towers, suspended in the void. Black metal pulsed faintly, with an energy humanity's best sensors couldn't categorize. Kalin exhaled slowly. Send a probe. We're not approaching that thing blind. The moment the probe breached the artifact's perimeter, everything changed. An energy surge flared. Space twisted. The Aegis Dawn's systems blinked out, and a bright, searing flash consumed the ship. Silence returned to the stars. 2 weeks later, the incident reached Commander Elira Voss, orbiting Virex 9, humanity's frontier colony and a jewel of terraformed resilience. She read the report in grim silence. One of their best ships, gone without a trace. No distress call. No survivors. The Galactic Council's timing couldn't have been more suspicious. They arrived in a massive delegation ship shaped like a silver crescent, flanked by 12 escort cruisers. An unsubtle message. The Zyral were leading the diplomatic front, their reptilian elegance hiding centuries of condescension toward younger species. High Strategist Kadar, their envoy, projected an air of cultured menace as he addressed Elira in the council chamber. Human expansion has outpaced restraint, he said, voice silken and cold. You spread like wildfire through systems you barely understand. It is not dominance. It is chaos. Elira didn't flinch. We built cities where you saw only rocks. Freed worlds you left enslaved to tradition. Chaos? No. It's adaptation. Kathar's slitted eyes narrowed. The Council demands cessation of further colonization beyond the Virex frontier. Violate this mandate, and you will be treated as a galactic contagion. The words hung in the air like a blade. Elira stood, her voice steel. We won't be leashed by a council that sat idle while entire species died in silence. We forge ahead because that's what it takes to survive. Outside the station, Virex 9's twin suns dipped below the horizon, casting the human fleet in a blood-orange glow. Kadar offered a final, chilling remark. Your defiance will be your extinction. As the delegation departed, Elira watched them vanish in a hyperspace. The room behind her remained still, the officers uncertain. But her mind was resolute. They think we're weak because we're new, she said softly. Because we still bleed and remember what it means to fight for every inch. She turned, meeting the eyes of her crew. Let them come. They'll find out what humanity really is. Fire in the void. The sky above Virex 9 ignited without warning. What began as a flicker on orbital sensors became a full-scale assault. Alien cruisers emerged from subspace like wraiths, cloaked in shimmering energy veils. Their arrival bypassed the planet's early warning satellites, an intentional demonstration of superiority. By the time Commander Elira Voss reached the command deck of Fort Halberd, the bombardment had begun. Blue lances of plasma rained down from orbit, carving through cityscapes and melting defensive platforms. Screams echoed through comm channels as Virex 9's proud towers collapsed into fire and rubble. They didn't even issue a declaration of war, said Captain Reese, his voice tight with disbelief. They think they don't have to, Elira growled, eyes locked on the tactical display. This isn't conquest. It's extermination. She watched as the alien fleet, dozen strong, tightened its orbit. No ground invasion. No attempts at surrender. Just cleansing fire from above. The Galactic Council had spoken through action. Virex 9 would be made an example. But humanity wasn't going to lie down. Elira, Phantom Vanguard is on standby, came a voice over comms. Admiral Nyra Thorne, commander of humanity's most elite mobile fleet. Awaiting your command. Elira didn't hesitate. Deploy. All of them. Phantom Vanguard launched from the dark side of Virex 9's shattered moon, silent as the void itself. 30 ships. Light, fast, deadly. They slipped past the Zyral's forward patrols like shadows, riding gravity wells and using solar flare from the nearby binary stars as cover. Elira joined the formation in her personal command frigate, Resolute Ash. Inside the bridge, she issued rapid-fire commands. Engage targeting AI. Paint weak points in their shielding matrix. Focus fire on their flanks. No head-on duels. Alien ships were elegant, mathematical. They followed protocol, symmetry, control. Human ships were cobbled from necessity, built for grit. They struck from unexpected angles, fired weapons the aliens didn't recognize, shrapnel torpedoes, kinetic rail lances, pulse jammers. It was not war, as the Council knew it. It was chaos. It was human. The Battle of the Dargan Belt was over in 13 minutes. The aliens, caught off guard by unorthodox tactics and raw aggression, retreated. 3 of their cruisers detonated mid-evacuation, ruptured from within by viruses introduced through captured comm frequencies. The victory wasn't clean. 4 Vanguard ships were lost, and Virex 9 lay burning. But it was a victory. Later, standing over the smoldering ruins of Virex 9's capital, Elira addressed her crew and the billions watching across human space. They thought we'd kneel, that we'd break at the first blow, but we are not made of porcelain. She gestured to the wreckage behind her. We are forged in fire, and now we strike back. Somewhere, aboard his flagship, Kadar watched the broadcast with cold fury. A mere human had humiliated him. The Zyral would not allow such an insult to stand. But even Kadar, in his ancient wisdom, had yet to understand. You can destroy a city, but you cannot kill a species that refuses to die. The will of one, the fury of billions. The alien shipyard hung like a dark star above Theta Crucis Prime, its surface crawling with automated defenses and drone patrols. A marvel of Zyral engineering, sleek, flawless, arrogant. It was also vital, producing 1/3 of their warships, which made it the perfect target. Commander Elira Voss studied the layout in a holographic briefing room aboard the Resolute Ash. Her armor still bore the scars from Virex 9, but her eyes were sharper than ever. This shipyard is the spinal cord of their fleet, she said, pacing. Destroy it, and we fracture their production capability. Maybe their morale, too. Her officers exchanged uneasy glances. It's suicide, said Lieutenant Armandake. It's deep in Council territory. We'd be surrounded in minutes. Then we won't give them minutes, Elira replied. Her plan was reckless, brilliant, dangerous. They would use a stolen Zyral warp gate drive, jury-rigged, to punch a temporary subspace tunnel directly to the shipyard. A one-way trip. No time for stealth. No backup. Just Phantom Vanguard and their fury. They emerged from the gate like a blade through flesh. Immediately, alarms shrieked across the alien facility. Automated turrets spun and opened fire, but Vanguard was already inside the perimeter. Human hybrid cruisers, retrofitted with alien tech, moved with terrifying efficiency. Elira's ship dove through a cluster of defensive rings, unleashing a barrage of EMP lances and plasma salvos. Fighters swarmed, targeting heat vents, communication nodes, fuel cores. No negotiations. No hesitation. The Zyral were caught in a storm they never anticipated. Humans fighting not to conquer, but to make a statement. We are not afraid of you. The shipyard cracked open like an egg. A chain of explosions raced through its spine, erupting into a blinding flare visible from orbit. It was gone. Back on Earth, billions watched the victory unfold in real time. The news triggered something unseen in centuries. Unity. Factions that had warred over territory, religion, and economy set aside their grudges. Megacorporations poured resources into the war effort. Volunteers surged by the millions. The human spirit, raw and unrefined, had ignited into a blaze. On the bridge of his dreadnought, Kadar stared at the reports in silence. Humans were no longer an infection. They were wildfire. He turned to his war council. They've proven they will not stop, he said. Then neither will we. Ready the fleet. Set course for Earth. As humanity celebrated, Alira stood in orbit over the wreckage of the shipyard. The stars shimmered around her, cold and silent. We bled for this, she said quietly to herself. But the real storm's coming. Her aide approached with a message. Earth was under threat. The Zyral fleet was en route. She nodded, eyes hard. Then we hold the line. She looked once more at the stars, no longer distant, no longer indifferent, and whispered, "Let them come." When stars clashed, Earth's orbit was no longer calm. Hundreds of human warships held formation like a wall of steel and fire, engines humming with barely restrained fury. Orbital platforms bristled with weapons. Civilian cities beneath had been evacuated or fortified. Every satellite, every station, every fighter was ready. The Zyral fleet arrived in a thunderclap of subspace ruptures, dozens of war dreadnoughts, sleek and massive, each one a fortress in motion. At their head loomed the obsidian blade of Kathar's flagship, Judgment of Suns. From the command deck of Resolute Ash, Commander Alira Voss watched them appear like ghosts. "They came," said Lieutenant Dake, his voice barely a whisper. "They always do," Alira replied. "But so do we." The two armadas collided in silence, broken only by the roar of energy cannons and the crunch of shattered hulls. Fighter squadrons screamed through Earth's upper atmosphere. Human exo-soldiers leapt from dropped ships into orbiting battlefields, fighting in zero-G with rail blades and mag rifles. AI-assisted artillery lit up the night side of Earth like a second sun. Humanity fought like nothing the Zyral had prepared for. There was no order, no perfect formation, just a million tiny fires burning with rage and purpose. Inside the chaos, Alira broke formation, driving Resolute Ash directly into the heart of the enemy fleet. "Target their flagship," she ordered. "We end this with Cathar." The dreadnought's defenses opened fire, shredding her escort. Still, she pressed forward. Her ship collided with Judgment of Suns, hulls grinding, systems dying. She led a boarding team into the enemy heart, carving their way through resistance. Cathar waited for her in the command throne. "You should have surrendered," he said, rising to his full height. "You would have lived to see your people enslaved at least." Alira didn't answer. She raised her plasma blade, and the two titans clashed. Their duel raged across the burning deck. Cathar was faster, stronger, but Alira was human. She fought with desperation, rage, memory, with the screams of Virex, Nine, and the dreams of Earth echoing in every strike. He landed a vicious blow, slicing into her side. She caught his arm, drove her blade through his chest, and whispered, "We don't break." Cathar collapsed. She collapsed moments later. Outside, the alien fleet faltered, leaderless, demoralized, lost. Human ships surged forward, exploiting the chaos. The Zyral withdrew, scattered into retreat. Earth held. They buried Alira in Earth orbit, her coffin drifting among the stars she had defended. Her final broadcast was replayed across every colony, every world. "We are not machines. We are not perfect, but we are alive, and that is our greatest strength." Months later, the Galactic Council, fractured and fearful, signed a new accord. Humanity would not be contained. In the ruins of Council space, other species began to rise, inspired by the ones who dared to fight the gods. The war was over, but the legend of humanity had only just begun.